Hi, I'm Dojo. This is SICKA Vision.
Wagwan, this is Kabaka Pyramid, and this is SICKA Vision.
Hi, people. It's Dojo here at SICKA Vision today. Today, we're going to dive into the minds of one of the most influential artists across the globe over the last decade. True heavyweight in terms of the realm of conscious reggae and hip hop. True lyrical powerhouse, made waves across the globe with your thought-provoking music, revolutionary spirit. And ladies and gentlemen, it's no other than the one and only Kabaka Pyramid.
Yeah, greetings. Huh?
Yes. Kabaka hails from Kingston, Jamaica, multi-talented artist, producer, and lyricist whose mission is clear: to use music as a tool for change, empowerment, and awakening. From his early days on the mixtape scene to your recent album, The Calling, which won a Grammy. Amazing
Give
stuff.
thanks, give thanks.
Kabaka's always infused the sound with, a raw, conscious type of energy, blending reggae and hip hop. And we're going to talk a little bit about that today. My first question for you is actually about your name, Kabaka Pyramid. Tell me why pyramid and where that comes from.
So the pyramid part, I've always had this deep interest in ancient Egypt, known as Kemet, you know, and black civilization there, and just starting to do my research about it. Just felt empowered by the symbolism of the pyramid, you know, and Kabaka actually means king in Uganda. So I was, as a Rasta youth in Jamaica, like, we're taught to like do away with the slave names that were given, you know what I mean, and look for African names. So I literally just went online and African names, you know, and I saw Kabaka and something stood out.
Right.
You know, it's actually the title. So, you know, you would say, you would say Kabaka, but I kind of found that out later. I already was like, this is it.
It really means King Pyramid.
Yeah, exactly. You could say that.
Yeah.
Which works too, you know?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, perfect for you as well. So you've worked with some really talented artists in your career, you know, Buju Banton, Damien Marley, Chronixx. Who would you say has sort of brought out the best in you in terms of, who would you have the best chemistry with making music? Who really challenges you to like push yourself and reach the top of your game when it comes to either your bars or your melodies or whatever?
Well, definitely Gang. I mean, you know, we've seen the fruits of it. For sure. You know, him definitely pushed me to be a better artist, better songwriter, you know, everything. But I have to give an honorable mention to Chronixx.
Okay.
Like, because, you know, we worked together on a bunch of songs over the years. But like, you know, Blessed is the Man and Same Prayer is two songs that really kind of bring out a different vibe for me, especially Same Prayer. And he was there when no, it's smooth and just, you know. But he was there kind of like coaching me vocally through that, you know, my verse and that. So for sure. But overall, I'd have to say Gang, because him just, I learned so much being around him, and we, as I said, we've seen the fruits.
Yeah, definitely. I saw you speak about sort of his influence in terms of his Stony Hill album and how that sort of shaped how you started to bring your own experiences into your music as well.
100%. Even watching him work on that album while we working on Contraband at the same time, you know, and watching him put together his songs and like record and re-record, and you know, he's a different machine. He will like.
What's his process like in terms of creating music?
He will have him have him MPC, so he'll be around MPC at the back of the studio. He will have like Young Power or Keezy, you know, and like a guitarist and a bassist, you know, around. Usually all three are there. Sometimes it's just one. Right. Just depends. And you know, you will either start with a piano progression or a guitar progression, or maybe just start programming some drums. Right. And then after a while, once a beat, like he will maybe do like 5-6 beats. Yeah. And then he will kind of listen them back. And then if one of them kind of, and then he probably just take up one of the live microphone them and just start vibing. Yeah. And then if a song comes, if something solid forward now, then, you know, it's like start to flesh it out a little bit. But just on the demo mic, and then, you know, maybe another day you will like work on it. Nice. But you do like, and man, so his whole thing is like, you know, him walk into the studio sometime around 11 p.m. and then we're there until like 6, 7 a.m.
You prefer late night sessions or morning? Because some artists, you know, they wanna get to making the music straight first thing in the day. You know,
I like to record vocals early. I feel like I have more energy. Yeah. You know, There's something about the morning with creative energy too. But definitely I've gotten used to the late nights. There's something about the night hours too, where certain type of energies flow in the late hours, so
moon is a powerful thing,
for sure. It's like every time of day has a different energy and you can use it to your advantage.
Agreed with that. Yeah, for sure. I want to ask you also, you have a lot of obviously versatility and diversity in your sound, and from listening to your music, I can tell you definitely care about your bars.
Yeah,
You
for sure.
definitely take,
Probably too much, but yeah.
We ain't complaining though. We love it.
Yeah, straight.
But you're also really nice with the melodies as well. So I wanted to ask you, like, what pocket do you feel more comfortable in? What comes to you more naturally? Is it the bars thing, or is it the vocals?
Yeah, definitely the bars. Definitely the bars. Like I never had any musical like training growing up. I couldn't sing to save my life. That's why people from like 2003 to 2008, people knew me more as a rapper.
Right.
Because I was just vocally, I could deliver raps easier with more confidence than doing the melody thing. Like I couldn't hold a note. I couldn't stay on pitch. It was like super difficult. So just where I'm at now melodically is like years and years of growth. You know what I mean? And we're still learning and still growing and still doing vocal training and trying to improve. But yeah, the bars is more natural for sure. Like that's the first thing.
I feel you on that. I feel you. Do you play any instruments?
Play a little guitar. I can strum some chords on guitar. I can bang some notes on the piano too.
That's nice.
So I make beats. Sometimes I use a keyboard to make beats and stuff. Yeah.
Nice. So in terms of like as a listener, right? What are some of your favorite instruments? Personally, I love the saxophone. That's one of my favorites.
The sax wicked for sure. Yo, when I was doing contraband, I was like, yo, dang, when I put some saxophone on the album, and I was like, what do you mean? Like, which song? Yo, we just need some sax, brother. Just any song,
I feel like it takes songs to a different place, like just spiritually. It's like
spiritually, like
sounds like it's like singing without a voice.
Yeah, man, it's the closest thing to like a vocal.
Yeah.
And there's this wailing, there's this pain in it, where for sure.
It really comes from.
But horns in general, I love horns in general. Right now there's a young set of youth in Jamaica who doing a lot of the horns and a lot of the productions. But the man them thing them again, doing it. The horns youth them, listen to interview my youth. Okay, what them name? Them have a. We'll get back to that, but I did want to give them a little plug still because them doing I love to see the young musicians
for sure.
doing a lot of work.
Young artists coming out of that scene right now that you particularly pay attention. You feel like this person's gonna have a bright future.
Yeah, for sure.
Something.
So there's a whole heap. There's some of my close friends like Medicine, Iris Soldier. You have like Iamaru, Highly Celestial. You have Jalil. You have Yaxter, who had just released a song with, I produced a song for him recently. There's so many. It's like, Naomi Cowan, Jazz, Runkus, Royal Blue.
Yeah, Royal Blue. You got a song with Royal Blue, right?
Yeah, just released. You have Maki and you have Samri. You have Mortimer, like Mortimer's album blew me away recently. Not tell a lie.
Okay, so I'm gonna slightly switch topic onto something a little bit more personal, more spiritual, I guess. Right. So on I think it was one of your recent podcast interviews, you talked about karma and how, certain things that you don't necessarily say you don't finish off in this lifetime, they follow you into next lifetimes and so forth, and dictate how you act and what you do. Behind all of that, there's obviously an understanding of like, what the soul is, what the spirit is. Can you talk a little bit about that and how that impacts your view of things in terms of karma?
For sure. So I think you have different levels. So as when I hear the word spirit, I think of like the highest aspect of us that ties us back to the source and to our unity. It's some people call it like the higher self or like your inner self.
Inner self, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then now the soul is actually, so the spirit is actually what reincarnates. And the soul now is kind of more temporary. The soul is based on what energetically the spirit needs to grow within the next life. So the spirit will attract the soul energy to itself based on previous karma.
Right.
So the build up from your previous lives kind of dictates what your future needs to be in order to grow and to mend differences and all of these things. So you gather that soul energy, and the soul gathers the physical energy. So, there's a whole system in place as to, different higher beings. Some they call them angels, some, in Kemet, they will call them Neteru, or you have Orishas, and you have these. You also have other deceased, like human spirits that have ascended to higher levels that have the responsibility of guiding souls and being guardian spirits and stuff. So they actually guide you to the right parents in the right scenario so that you can act out your karma. So this is a whole interweb of planning that takes into account other people's karma and who you're going to meet at what point in life. Because when these moments happen and you just see somebody and you feel like you know them from somewhere, or it's like something touch you, something click, it's because it's really or preordained in a certain sense. You still have free will to act it out. Sometimes you can divert a little bit, but karma will always bring you back to the center.
Sure.
So
balance is key.
Yeah.
So my follow-on from that is actually bringing that back to music. You've obviously just talked about the soul versus the spirit, different properties for both. Where do you feel like music or your music comes from? Does it come from your spirit or from your soul?
A deep question.
So I tend to get like that.
Yeah, no. I never really thought about it like that, but I do think music in general. So all right, so there's when you're thinking about the spirit world, you can divide it into different dimensions, right? We have the physical dimension, which is part of the spirit world, but it's the densest part.
Right.
And then you have like what some people call the astral realm or the soul realm. That is an energy realm, but it's kind of, you could look on it like it's visual. Like that's where you see colors and you kind of feel colors. So when they talk about the aura and the different colors in the aura, this is astral energy.
Right.
Now you have a higher realm than that. Some people call it the thought world. Some people call it the Devachan in like Hindu. But this is kind of thought slash sound. Like sound, you kind of feel things on a sound level. So music actually originates from that. That you ever hear them talk about the second heaven?
Nah, I haven't heard about that.
Well, that it's a term I've heard it before, but it's like I started to realize that's what they're talking about. They're talking about that second stage that you go, and these are realms that you travel through within the afterlife.
Yeah.
So when you reach to that second heaven now, that's when you're interacting with people on more a spirit level and not a soul level. So the more conscious you are during your physical life is the more aware you are when you're in the second heaven. If you're not very conscious and you only had like selfish thoughts, selfish behaviors, you're pretty much unconscious by the time you reach to that realm. And you're just being directed by other entities. You can't really self-direct. So the more conscious thoughts you have while you're in the physical world, and the more selfless you are, and also the more you think about like abstract symbolism, and like the more you meditate and try and even move beyond the physical, those things accelerate how much you can be active in that second heaven and start being active in planning your own future life. Because you can't plan anything if you don't have the responsibility, if you're not responsible enough. It's just like a child. A child can't really, their parents have to plan everything for them.
Sure.
But then when you start to grow and you reach the adult life, you start to move more independent. So that's kind of what karma allows this evolution. So each life you learn a little more, you become a little bit more independent, you know,
sure.
and then you get more responsibilities.
Yeah, it's powerful stuff, man. So many gems in there. So many gems. So I know you like to read books a lot.
Yeah.
Can you give me sort of three books that you recommend to read?
Yeah, so to start, if we're talking about these kind of topics, I think it's good to understand reincarnation and from a logical perspective. And I think Many Lives, Many Masters is a great introduction to that.
Right. Many Lives, Many Masters.
Yeah, I think Brian Weiss is the name of the author.
Brian Weiss.
Then you have another book called Journey of Souls. So these are both written by like psychiatrists who didn't believe in any of this. But through their regression therapy work, they stumbled across this information. So it's really easy to assimilate it when you read it from that perspective, as opposed to somebody with an agenda who is like, you know, and it's all these abstract things and, you know.
Sure.
So I think those are some of the best books to introduce people to these ideas and allow you to kind of process it for yourself.
For sure.
But then once you start to accept these things as a reality, then you need to start reading Rudolf Steiner.
Rudolf Steiner.
Yeah, he's the man when it comes to them things. Like nobody don't go as deep as him. Nobody. You know, so you have like How to Know the Higher Worlds is a great starting point for Steiner.
Right.
You know, and then, but he has hundreds of books and lectures that they turn into books.
Right.
And a lot of his material is for free online. He was really just about spreading information. It wasn't a money-making thing. You know, a lot of these authors nowadays, they come with this information and then they want you know, buy this and subscribe to that. And
everybody has something to sell.
Always. I don't like mixing the spiritual with the financial. Something always irk me when I see that, you know. But people have to do what they have to do still. So.
Yeah, for sure. So, next question for you is you've obviously done a lot of festivals around the globe. You know, Reggae Sunfest is one of them. You've done a lot of festivals. I wanted to know, what's your preference in terms of performances? Do you like festivals, or do you prefer like intimate type of venues, you know, headlining your own type of show, that type of thing?
I never really thought about that before. Both have benefits. You know, I like the big crowds at the festivals, you know. But I think overall, like the you know, my headline shows, the club shows, indoor venues kind of sound better. You know, like when we're listening in the ears and just the music is more contained, so you kind of feel the crowd more. But yeah, it just depends. Sometimes outdoor can be a vibe. You know, but I think some of my nicest experiences have been like the club shows. You know?
That's nice. So obviously you've got a show coming up this Sunday in London, or two.
Yes.
What can fans expect from that, and what you gonna bring to the table for us this time around?
Yeah, man, whole heap of fire, whole heap of energy, lyrics, you know, little hip hop, you know, vibes in the thing, but you don't know is reggae is culture, is roots. We go through different eras of the music too. You know, touch a couple classic rhythms and you know what I mean? It's just an interactive vibe. I like to talk to the crowd, I like to get the crowd moving. You know? And it's live music, full band, you know.
Nice. Obviously, you've got a couple other shows coming up in the UK on your tour. So I know you've got Sheffield, you've got Manchester, Birmingham as well.
Birmingham, Falmouth, Bristol.
That's the last one, yes.
We're doing the rounds.
No, that's definitely what's up. What would you say is like one of your favorite cities that you've performed in, though? You can't say Jamaica.
I mean, you don't know. Let me see. I had a great show in Paris last year. Like the club tour I did last year was kind of very memorable.
Right.
You know, the London show, you know, we sold out Jazz Cafe.
Yeah.
That was a special show. The Paris show we did was special. We did a couple big venues in like were big for me in like Netherlands and Germany that were really packed and was full of vibes. I don't necessarily have like a one place, but there's some cities in like California
Yeah.
where the vibe is just like, yo,
Yeah, California as a whole is just different, isn't it?
yeah,
Crazy.
it's like it's a mix of that Europe vibe where them really appreciate the music and they're following you as the artist, not just like you got the big cities, they know
Yeah.
your popular songs.
Mm.
They know your name and they know your big songs. They're
Mm.
waiting to hear your big songs. But you go some of these other cities, and these other countries, and it's like them really into you, they're following you.
Yeah.
They want to buy your merch, everything like
Sure.
that. So Cali has a bit of that vibe from Europe, but with the English speaking thing, so it's a little bit more, they're
Yeah.
into the lyrics a little bit
For
more.
sure.
And yeah, it's a real vibe. Them have kind of that hippie vibe. So it's like you kind of connect to Rasta in a way where
Yeah, it's that
yeah.
easygoing lifestyle.
Yeah, man.
So obviously you're a massive Arsenal fan. Tell me a little bit
Certainly.
about why you chose Arsenal. Why is that your club of choice? What does it mean to you to support Arsenal right now? Especially, in a really good period for your club.
Yeah. It really started because all of my brethren them in high school, they were Man United fans. And I had to be different.
You had to be the
I
one,
had to be the one, you know what I mean? And like,
must have been tough for you though.
yeah, it was rough, but it was a good era at the time still. I wasn't as into,
Yeah.
following every game as I am now, or the last maybe 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
But, it's like Henry and then Bergkamp, them, you know what I mean? That
Legends.
era, like
Yeah.
Wenger first era there, so,
Yeah.
that them was the glory days. And
For
for
sure.
sure, the style of play, the attacking
Mm.
football, the pretty football, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, that's what I'm about.
How important would you say it is that with a club like Arsenal, for example, they have a long history of, like, black
Black
players, a
players,
lot of
African,
representation
yeah,
from African, that
for
sort of
sure. We've
background.
seen even they've leaned into the marketing with
For
like the
sure.
Jamaica colors
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah. I
the,
was gonna ask how what was that like to
No, I
see
feel
that? Yeah.
good. I mean, like to me, there's a big connection with Jamaica and
Mm.
Arsenal for sure.
Sure.
And just the whole London connection and
Definitely.
Jamaican culture permeating and resonating here so
Yeah.
much. So I like the fact that they lean into it.
Yeah.
It's still kind of that little saying, capitalist vibe, yeah, whatever, just try to take all the money. But
Yeah.
still, we love the club.
For
I'm a
sure.
man who genuinely love the club, and so yeah, why not?
Yeah. Big time. Bit of a techie question here. How you feel about the league this season? You think they can go all the way?
I feel like this is the year still.
Yeah.
I feel like
He said it. Kabaka
yeah,
Pyramid.
nah, for sure.
You win the league this year, Arsenal.
No, for sure. I feel like this. We don't like put set things and then things happen. But
Yeah.
because I feel like last year, if we beat Villa, we would have won.
Very true.
You know what I mean?
Very
So
true.
that was, and then the year before, I think like that Liverpool game where we
Anfield.
drew.
Yeah.
That if we had beaten them, like I don't know why we went so defensive
Yeah.
from so early.
For sure.
And then that soaked up all the pressure. That beating Liverpool at Anfield would have symbolized a shift for us.
Yeah. We still haven't done that
No,
under
that's what I'm
under
saying.
Arteta, so I think that's
That's
something we
important.
will
That's
have to
gonna
do
be
this
a
season.
key
Yeah.
game this year.
For sure.
Them looking good, they're not
They're looking
conceding
good.
any goals.
Mm.
So I feel like the last game against City,
Yeah.
we're right there in terms of getting over the mental hurdle with City.
Yeah.
I think where you could say that we're there, but it's debatable. But we need to get over that with Liverpool and just like get them out of the way. With Rodri injured, I feel like we have the chance.
Big
Like
blow for
things,
them.
with these cases where City fighting, maybe them get some points deduction.
Yeah. How would you feel if we went on to win the league? Say City gets deducted 12 points.
We don't
and
care.
then-
Me not care, brother. Me
You
not
don't
care.
care.
That's
Would it feel the
karma.
same? Because obviously rival fans would be like, oh, it's because
Let
of the
them
points.
talk. But just give it the trophy, bro. Just give it the trophy.
Yeah.
As long as we earn it, because it's not like I think Liverpool is gonna be there. They're gonna be fighting.
I
So
mean, they were there last year for a long
exactly,
time.
and then they fell off. But them have a new coach, maybe them get some injuries, and you don't know what will happen. But when them face real adversity, we saw them lose to what? Forest.
That's right.
So
That's right.
we're hoping for a couple more of them last year.
Their managers said they haven't faced any big teams this season.
Exactly,
So
they really haven't. So we don't know.
they
But
haven't come to the Emirates yet.
I think we have a track record now of beating the bigger teams and like especially at home.
Sure.
So we're getting there, and the club is in a good place for the future. We have a lot of young players.
Definitely.
So
Ethan,
if we win this
Miles.
year, why not win a couple more? Why not?
Yeah. So last question on Arsenal is, how did it feel to see Smith Rowe leave the club?
Say Smith Rowe was my baller.
Yeah.
Like, may I bring Smith Rowe, but here what? No. Smith Rowe, I feel like he suffers from being too talented. Like him look too casual sometimes, and like him not run as hard. It's kind of like, it's almost like you'd have to be producing at the rate of like, you see how like man like De Bruyne just like produce. So it's like him don't necessarily have to be running all about the place.
Impact.
Yeah, you have to have the impact. And Arteta need players where I go run. Everybody on the field is running and pressing. Smith Rowe is like, the man I got just move casual and just give some quality. Like, where, to me, I thought he was the highest quality player on the team. Just raw talent and quality, and control and first touch.
Yeah, I think when they first broke out, him and Saka, I thought he was the better player at the start. I thought he was definitely the better player, but
yeah, Saka have something special though, and he had it from the beginning. He have this kind of like this golden child thing where good things happen.
Yeah,
and that is something you needed.
It's in his
see it there, and you need that. You need that for sure. But Smith Rowe, I was like, big on Smith Rowe, but I want to see him do good. Maybe is he on loan or we sold it? We sold him, right? It was 20 something mil or something like that.
Yeah, I think 27, something like that, 25,
25, I think.
Yeah.
But I want to see him do good. Maybe he'll come back. He's still young.
Yeah, he's still got time to circle the block.
Yeah, maybe we'll end up at Barca.
Maybe,
like so many Arsenal players. But
Smith Rowe at Barca would be very interesting, I think.
I think so.
Yeah, very interesting. So for millennials who grew up on reggae and hip hop, your music hits a sweet spot. But how do you keep your sound fresh for the ears of the Gen Z sort of demographic and the younger audience coming through?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's a challenge. You have to kind of keep your ear to what's going on with the music. Sometimes just adding a little trap hi-hat or a trap snare in the mix. Sometimes those things kind of just make it a bit more current.
Yeah.
And sonically just influence the palette a bit. And then you kind of talk about stuff that's happening now. And just make sure the topics are relevant. It's always good to incorporate things in people's daily lives into the music. Because you're really making music for people to listen. And relate to. So
how do you find that like the younger audience that's just coming, getting familiar now with this reggae sound, they're obviously younger. Do you feel like there's enough of them sort of doing the research to go back in time and understand, where these certain rhythms come from, where's that sound from, where's that original sample taken from, and stuff like that? And there's, that's something that was really big, obviously, for your culture and for your music. I know you do a lot of sampling.
Yeah, I think sampling is still happening. I think there's so much information out now, so people have access to find out things. It really comes down to the individual, if they have the interest in learning those things. I do think there should be more. There should be more like maybe podcasts or different types of things featuring the connection with the music over the years, so that make it interesting, so that young people could benefit from it. That's probably a good idea for somebody to explore if it's not being done already. But those things are always good, and I think the youth them knowledgeable. That's one thing now. Them have so much information in their hands, and it's like whether it's music or sports, them have all the stats from different eras, and it's like so
some people dedicated just to doing that.
We're in an analytics type of era now. So I think that kind of, with the streaming numbers and the data from which city, this and that, the youths them are using that and incorporating that into their marketing and their stuff.
For sure. So as an artist who's obviously been doing this for a very long time, over a decade now, you've obviously lived through different eras. And in this current era that you're in, with the rise of social media, like you were just speaking about, how have things changed for you in terms of the impact on your career, how you move with your music, how you distribute, what type of pockets you're trying to sit in?
I think I've definitely um, lived through the social media. Like my career has been, basically taking place through that Instagram. That's kind of the central platform for my generation. Like,
Sure.
it was kind of coming out of Facebook. So the early days were on Facebook, and then we kind of shifted to Instagram. Now it's like I'm trying to keep up with the TikTok. I have a little TikTok page, maybe like 13K growing now.
Oh,
Just
that's
trying
not
to.
bad for
I
now.
mean, but I still haven't really figured out like what type of content, because it's like it just seems so
You can do
random
anything on
what
there.
goes off. So you're still trying to figure out that, and you kind of like Instagram, we understood the algorithm. So we kind of knew when to post, what time to post, like how often to post, how to set up your slides and what to put first, because you kind of figured out what the algorithm is pushing and what people tend to like. But TikTok, I'm still kind of figuring that out. And but yeah, as I said, my generation kind of benefited from the social media, but also, the lack of that avenue of like, radio success and like sound system success, making sure your songs playing in certain parties, and once they do, is like you're good in terms of your life is set. Like, because there hardly any even hit songs being made now within like reggae. It's hard to get a song to bust that big, unless everything kind of works right and it goes viral and social. But it's like there's so many factors in play. It's hard to like put that into a formula and say, all right, this is kind of how we do it. I feel like before the 2010s, there were like formulas to success, and a lot of artists benefit from that. It's like we just kind of have to figure it out. It's like a man for themselves. We have to get music to the fans directly. It's not like this one magazine and like everybody's gonna see you because you're on that one.
I guess it puts more power in the hands of the artist to some degree,
It does, yes, if you figure it out.
Yeah.
And if you have a good connection with your fans. But if you don't have a fan base, it's like what you're telling a young artist to do right now. If they only have 3,000 followers, and what you telling them? How is their music gonna get to everybody's phone? If they don't have tens of thousands to spend on social ads. So but if you, back in the day, it was like, if you're talented enough, you go to the studio that has the producer that has the connections with radio or has the connections with a label. And then once that person kind of appreciates your sound enough to record you and the song is good enough, it's almost like a more clear-cut path. Then now it's like
everybody has a go.
Everybody has to kind of figure out their own thing, or you become a part of a camp or a team. And then if there's somebody who has all the engagement and they post you and they make their fans know about you and it's a part of the team, then you kind of have an angle.
See what you mean.
But without that, it's like it's rough. Like, people come to me for advice now, and I just, you tell them to be consistent, stick to what you're doing, and in terms of just never stop. But it's like, for me, I like the fact that previous eras had more systems that you could, rely on. Even if it's a big money to plug to radio, it's going to be effective.
It's going to be effective for sure.
Right now, you plug to radio in Jamaica, you don't know if that's going to do anything for you. How many people listening radio now?
Because the way people consume music has changed.
It's changed so much.
Changed a lot.
And then you have one demographic on this platform, another demographic on this platform.
And you as artists have to appeal to all of
them. But you don't. It's not enough. This demographic alone can't feed it.
For sure.
So you have to spread your resources around so many platforms and just hope that over time
it builds up into something.
Or one song just kind of blows up. So
it's like roulette.
A lot of people complaining now that we have to be, instead of music creators, we have to be content creators.
Yeah.
So that's a whole thing.
On that topic, sorry to cut you, but on that topic, how would you say that like TikTok has influenced like your formula in terms of the songs you make? Because you
Yeah.
know, a long time ago we used to listen to songs, they'd be 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes long. You know, you have a song with 3 verses in there.
Yeah.
Nowadays we barely get one.
True, it's true. There's definitely less importance to like fill out a song, and that makes it easy for me because I like to just record 2 verses and
Yeah.
then kind of just leave the last one just in case there's
Somebody's
another
gonna
topic
be
that comes up. So I like to leave the third
okay.
blank.
Yeah.
So now it's like you can literally just end the song.
Yeah.
So that works, but at the same time, I don't really like to let social media dictate my creation. I let it dictate the marketing
Right.
and how we're promoting. So like what clip in the song are we gonna use over here? Because what type of attention do we need? How fast do we need to get to the punchline because of people's attention span?
Okay.
And then you're doing photo shoots and you're thinking about the styling, how the theme of it relates back to the songs that you're promoting, and then the tour flyers. And so there's a lot of factors that come into social media, but I don't like to bring it unless the song is kind of just talking about the times. But I don't like to bring too much of it to make it, influence. I'll be the influencer.
Yeah.
No, the social influence me.
Yeah.
You understand?
Okay, so Kabaka, it's been an absolute pleasure having you and speaking to you. Good luck with your show and the rest of your tour. Obviously starting on Sunday with your show at the O2 in London. Yeah, big things. I'm looking forward to some projects next year. See how that works out. I know you're going to be working with some really important people on that as well. So
yeah, man, definitely.
keep an eye out for that.
Keep supporting good music and give thanks for the platform.
Definitely. So it's been 2-3 Dojo here at SICKA VISION. I'm gonna do my shameless plugs now. Sometimes I interview artists like Kabaka, but other times I'm an artist myself and I make, Afro beats, I make hip hop, and I do some little reggae stuff as well, here and there, or dance. So I'm versatile.
Proper way, man. Proper thing, fam.
Yes, proper thing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring Kabaka to South London and show him a great time.
Yeah, that's
the
it,
best
man.
part of London,
Yeah, we're gonna pattern it proper,
Pattern
yeah?
it properly.
Pattern it, man.